everything I'm going to say in this workshop is really tools, not rules. Okay, so there might be things that you find useful, and if you find them useful, great, then you can use them, and I hope you will. But there's nothing that I'm saying here that is, set in stone, or is any way, if you don't do it, then it's not a correct approach to songwriting. All of it is just ways to support yourself in developing your own craft, but you will find your own ways, in your own unique ways as well. And I think that's something that's really valuable in songwriting, is that each of us as a unique human being has a different set of experiences and qualities to bring to songs, and so we can make things that are really special and unique. And it doesn't mean that everybody's going to like them, but I'm sure no matter what we make, we'll all find some people who respond, who can really identify with what we write, and who can respond and enjoy them. So, getting started. For me, getting started with songwriting is probably the biggest challenge, and I attended a songwriting workshop myself by a songwriter called Michael Mara, who's from Dundee. He's sadly not with us any longer, but again, I would really recommend, if you don't know his songwriting, check him out. He can write the funniest, he could have you crying with tears of laughter, and the next moment you're literally crying. So he can write very moving songs, but also really hilarious songs. And in his workshop, the first thing he said at the beginning was, there's no point in writing a song if you haven't got a big idea. So to unpack that a wee bit more, he said, if there's nothing important that you want to say, and a fresh angle that you can say it from, then what's the point? So I'm sure we can all think of songs where we've heard it before. And for me, those are the songs that don't really appeal quite as much. I love it when I hear a song that says something that feels important, but also says something in a way that is surprising or fresh or new. So I try really hard to follow Michael Mara's advice there, and really focus before I start writing a song on what the big idea is. And to break that down, I suppose, in terms of creative writing that you may have more experience with before coming to songwriting, it's kind of thinking about purpose and audience, which is what we usually do when we're doing a piece of writing. So why do you want to write the song, and who is it for? So in my mind, there's a kind of spectrum of songs, and at one end there's kind of really niche things that appeal to a very small number of people, and at the other end there's kind of really super popular things that appeal to loads of people. And I think you can almost measure the kind of complexity of the work. The more complex work tends to be at this end and have less of an audience, but maybe quite a dedicated audience. And at the other end, this kind of simpler, more open, accessible work can have a really large audience. So there's kind of a spectrum in a way that you can think about. So at this end, for example, big anthemic songs that everybody can sing along with. And at this end, maybe more obscure songs that take a lot of time to get into. So it's always interesting thinking about your purpose and your audience before you start. You might be writing for a really specific audience. So for example, if I was asked to write a song for a nursery class to encourage them to have good personal hygiene or something like that, you might be writing a song to a brief, and you know exactly who your audience is and exactly what the purpose of the song is. And that sometimes can be a big help when you're looking at a blank sheet of paper or a blank computer screen and trying to work up some ideas. But more often than not, you're writing a song because you want to write a song. So that's where, at this point, at the beginning point, thinking of a big idea, thinking of something that matters to you and is important, I think that's a really fundamental thing. So for me, I think I've come to a kind of understanding with myself that my reason for writing songs is I like to share and connect my experiences in the world and my concerns about the world and maybe my joys in the world, but I like to share them with other people through songs. I'm quite a shy person. Mightn't seem like it just now when I'm waffling on to a screen, but probably if I met you in person, I'd be a bit shy. And I really like the fact that in a song you can kind of think about what you want to say, prepare it, practice it, and then perform it. So you can really get across something that you want to say. And for me, if I can connect with people on an emotional level and share something that maybe helps them feel they're not alone, or maybe gives them a bit of hope, or maybe helps them celebrate a happy feeling, that makes me feel really happy. And it's something I can do through music that I maybe don't do that often just through talking or chatting, because that's not really my strength, I would say. So for me, that's one of the motivating factors, but for different songs, I maybe think about a specific purpose and a specific audience for that. Some people find that's kind of, it's a very big suggestion to say have a big idea, but I'll give you a few examples of songs that for me are really quite special, and also a wee suggestion of ways into thinking about big ideas for songs. So one way in that I find really useful is painting a picture. So if I think about some song titles, I'll try and think of some that you might know as well as some that I really like. There are song titles which immediately give you a picture of something, and it may or may not summarise the whole meaning of the song, or it may just give you an image to hold on to while you listen to the song and the story kind of unpacks itself. So one example of that from recent times that I think is really effective is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. And I think we all know what a driver's license is, and probably you know the song, so probably you know that the whole song is not about a driver's license, but about a relationship that's broken down. But that image of working towards the driver's license, wanting to share that joy with the person that you're dating, and then actually getting to that position where you can celebrate but you're no longer with that person. And that story unpacking around the image of the driver's license for me is a really powerful one. Another example of a similar way of painting a picture and having a big idea is the song Firework by Katy Perry. And again, the song's not really about a firework, but fireworks are a really strong image, and I feel like what Katy Perry's saying in the song is, you're wonderful. Don't be afraid to just let yourself be seen and appreciate your own beauty. And I think that's done really powerfully through the song Firework. Another example, my favourite song in the whole world actually, is a song by Joni Mitchell, and it's called A Case of You. And basically, this song title, when unpicked in the kind of context of the song, looks at a kind of unhealthy, destructive relationship, and it compares it with alcohol addiction. So the lyrics of the chorus are, I could drink a case of you, darling, and still I'd be on my feet. I would still be on my feet. So that kind of addictive position that you can be in with a person as well as with alcohol. So for me, that's a powerful, big idea. But what all these songs kind of do is they can fuse an image that's familiar to us, or a scenario that's familiar to us. So here, for example, alcohol addiction, and then looking at that addiction in the context of a relationship, or looking at a firework and looking at that in terms of personal celebration and beauty and joyfulness. Or with the driver's license, it's again combining an achievement with a breakup. So sometimes kind of fusing together two different things that haven't really been put together, that gives that sort of freshness or that angle that Michael Mara was talking about that makes for him makes a song worthwhile. So song titles, I think, are really a useful way in, and quite often song titles can capture the big idea. So sometimes if I'm stumped, if I'm not sure what to do and I want to write a song, I just give myself a song title challenge. So I maybe ask myself, an easy thing to do is look around the room, list 5 objects you can see, or 5 things you can see out of your window, and then kind of doing a kind of word association from those things, from those objects. Can you make something that you think might work as a song title? And it's just a way of focusing your mind, really. You could do it with lots of other stimulus, so you could take a newspaper, or you could take a dictionary and just put your hand at random at a word. It's just a way of starting off your thinking and starting to free up your mind to see what is it you want to write about. So you may write down 5 objects that you see in a room, and one of them may really grab your attention and take you in a direction of a song that you want to write. That might be the case if the song title is connected with the big idea, but of course there are always songs with quite obscure titles as well, which don't bear any relation to the song content. So that's where, as I'm saying, tools, not rules. Bands like Snow Patrol, for example, break these rules all the time, and there's no connection between the title of the song, or none that I can see, between the title of the song and what the song's about or the content. So none of these things are set in stone, but you might find them useful as a way in. For me, finding a song title is a useful way into beginning an idea of a song. I'll be right right behind you in the shorts of the mirror. I'll be there, I'll be there.